What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. I want to share this video with you all uh, of a brother that is from India that has come to America and educating brothers and sisters. This video was several years back, but he was showing the connection of how Black Indians have the connection with Africa. Now, I do this video because, one, many of us are ignorant to the world's history. Many of us don't even know what goes on outside of the country that we were born and raised in. But when we're hearing things like I have been hammering for the last couple of years of, who we are, where we stem from, go back to Africa. Everything starts in Africa. I don't care what anybody says. It all starts in Africa. But when you see when we have been scattered, or let's just say shuffled through slavery, the Arabs took Africans over into the east of the world, and the Europeans took the Africans over into the west of the world. Now, when I say Africans, many people say, well, hold on, I thought you were saying about, that, there's a group, the children of Israel, and these are, sometimes, giving people too much information and they don't do the research themselves, they can't swallow and digest it. So they just move on and they go aimlessly out to be ignorant in what their country educated them in. But these bits and pieces that I am giving with these videos is nothing more than you taking that piece and taking that knowledge, that information from somebody else's history and adding it to your puzzle. Then it makes sense when you see, why are we saying that, we were scattered? Why are all Black people treated so unfairly in every country you go to? The darker the skin. Why is that? How is it that we wound up being at the bottom? How is it? It's because, brothers and sisters, many people don't want to hear about anything scripture. I don't blame them, because it's been pimped, used, and abused by the Europeans, by these wicked pastors, bishops, prophets that they give themselves these names and use these scriptures only for their own gain, to enslave people, to rob people, to rape people. I have seen disgusting acts in churches today, especially here in Africa and America. But in Africa, they're taking women's clothes off in front of the daggone congregation, molesting these women, all because the people are ignorant in scripture. And then when they wake up and realize they were lied to, they run away from the truth. The very things that they ran away from was in the scripture, what you shouldn't be doing, how you should be behaving. Who are these devils? Who are these evil ones? And people, because people don't read for themselves. Even this guy here who from India is going to share that how religion controlled India, and the blacker you got, they took advantage of and made them the untouchables, is what they call them. When I just left America here a couple of months ago to return back here to the motherland. For those who don't know, I did 33 African countries. I've been around the world, the globe. I haven't been to every country. But when I was back there in damn Erica, put the D in front of America, capitalize the E, damn Erica, I ran across this Indian woman, light-skinned Indian woman. She was in a convenience store, the gas station. A lot of them own them stores. So she had a sign on the god doggone plexiglass right there. When I got up there, and you didn't see the sign on the plexiglass because the way she had it was off to the side. But I wanted to use my credit card to get some things. And then she says, oh, the sign right here, you got to at least spend $5. And I said, why is it that y'all do this? I can go to these other people's stores here and they will accept no matter what I buy, whether it's 90 cents or not. Then she was like, oh, no, no, no. It's all up and down here. Everybody's the same, which she's lying because I've been to a lot of those places up and down that highway. So anyway, I said this right here. I said, well, sister, I'm not trying to argue with you. I know, you're trying to compete out here with the Europeans and this right here. And, hey, y'all black too from India, this and that. Do you know what that woman said to me? Oh, hell no. That's exactly what she said. Oh, hell no. I said, oh, I forgot, which I didn't. I planned that to see what her response was. I forgot. Y'all have a caste system in India, and y'all who are lighter think you better than the people who are darker. She did not say a word to deny it. She just sat there with her nose up in the air. Well, of course, this is your man, not your boy. I wasn't spending a freaking penny in her shop, and I left out. Well, anyway, this guy is going to disclose those prejudices and biases, how it came to be in India that he and the other blacks there was dealt the raw hand through religion. So I don't want to belabor the whole deal. I'm going to say I'm not going to interject much in this, and it's going to roll. And I've got it to be timed for about 30, 35 minutes, but I broke it up in pieces. So you're going to see me skip through to get to some points, but some are more lengthier than others. I'm telling you all, let your children listen to this. Share the video. I don't need no goddaggone money from y'all. The support we need is to pass on knowledge. I don't need your money. I don't need you to be praising me and thinking that. No, because it said that when you receive knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that is what sets you free. That's what opens your eyes up. And when he's bringing his knowledge to brothers and sisters, because he's talking before of African Americans, when he bringing the knowledge, you have to understand this is part of the piece of the puzzle to understand this whole thing. When we're hearing now about this whole blacks being scattered to the four corners of the earth, they wound up in India. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes to make sure I hit these timelines. Okay, let me go ahead, come back to you all. Let me share the screen. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all. I hope your day is as prosperous as mine is. I'm in good health right now. Thank the Lord for that. What's up, Phil Collins? If that's Phil Collins. Oh, no, not Phil Collins. Is that? No. I'm thinking of somebody else. But what's up, Phil Collins? I'm thinking of a Phil Hollins. But anyway, peace and blessings to you all. For we in good health. I'm going to take advantage of it. The days come when sickness shall come. The days come when, sometimes you're not on your full game. The days come when you begin to look over your life and realize I didn't take advantage of this life that I thought I should have. Man, if I would, why did I wait this long to even decide to get up and out and about? So anyway, let's get into this right here. And we are going to go to that right there. Okay, so that I can do this right here. Let me go ahead. I hope y'all's day is as beautiful and prosperous, because it's time for us to get out of this, out of the hellhole. And the only way is if we're willing to rise up to become a people with standards. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this right here and see this brother Indy. He's about to be introduced. Let me turn this down so y'all can hear this. Okay, let's get into it.
To give you some background, who is Velu Annamalai? Well, Velu Annamalai was born in a small village near the southern tip of India in a state called Tamil Nadu, engineering field. For the past 12 years, Dr. Annamalai has been writing on the plight of the untouchables, or the Dalits, of India, as well as speaking to various groups, mainly to Africans in America. Last year, with the help of Brother Runoko Rashidi, Dr. Annamalai started international.
Oh, 1 second. I have to pause right there. He said, let me rewind that real quick.
To various groups, mainly to Africans in America, in general history.
Okay.
On the plight of the untouchables, or the Africans in America. Last year, with the help of Brother Runoko Rashidi.
Runoko Rashidi, let me quickly give acknowledgement to this brother who has done an awesome job going around the globe, showing the connections of our people who in all these different countries where you can find us at, that he just passed away. Was it last year or year before last? But here is Dr. Runoko Rashidi, real quickly.
My name is Dr. Runoko Rashidi, and I have the good pleasure this afternoon of being at the Universal Charter School in Philadelphia, and we're recording a new video, DVD, which is entitled, Who is the Original Man?
Okay, so hold on.
It's designed to look at every geographic region in the world and to identify African people as the original people, as the Aboriginal people of the planet. Now, a bit of background about myself. My name is Runoko Rashidi. That is an African name. Runoko is from Zimbabwe. Rashidi, of course, is from Tanzania. And I think that that name represents a kind of a Pan-African character that I try to embody.
Okay, so I had to give acknowledgement to him because they mentioned his name. This Indian guy here actually is connected with Dr. Runoko Rashidi. Please do the research on our brother. He's got videos out there, out the yin yang. You would do yourself a disservice if you do not follow his tracks in some of these countries of showing the connection, like he said, of us being the original people. He's got a wealth of information. Okay, let's continue. Oops.
African community over here. There are over 200 million untouchables suffering under the yoke of the Hindu race and Hindu racism. And the international community completely ignores it because these people are considered to be black and polluted. Sisters and brothers, this is a background. I'm going to ask you to bring forward this brother and welcome him into our embrace.
Not educated, no matter what your educational qualifications are. Okay, so with that kind of introduction, I would like to bring to you a part of the world which has been completely hidden and forgotten. There are two worlds who were connected together long time back, but the present generation do not know. Either side do not know the other side is related. And that is my purpose. So if someone would look at me, this guy doesn't look like an African. He looks like one of the Indians walking around the street, and most of the Indians are obnoxious to the African Americans. What is he doing here? And this has been raised several times. Every time I go to an African American meeting, particularly in the beginning, when Brother Runoko Rashidi used to take me, and people question, who's this person? But I think I have spoken to several groups, several radio stations, and the book, The Dalits, the Black Ancestors of India, has fairly disseminated the information about who the Dalits are. I think now the African American community has understood that not every Indian is obnoxious. There could be somebody who's your brother or sister. And it's kind of difficult to find out. Okay. And even after I finish my lecture, still you may not be able to find out. But at least you would know there's such a thing, that there is a brother or sister who has same ancestry as you have. Okay. So going back to the history, what is the connection between India and Africa? I think by now probably a lot of people know, because I've asked that question several times, that India used to be called long time ago Eastern Ethiopia. Everybody knows that, right? No? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. You also probably heard there is a big river in India called Ganges. Okay. To be frank, till 2 years back, I did not know what the meaning of the word Ganges. I simply know Ganges is Ganges. Do you know the name Ganges is one of the strongest and famous emperors of Ethiopia? That's right. Do you think some crazy Aryans would name a big river in India after an African emperor?
Do your research.
Simple logic says that. In southern part of India, a particular god is being worshipped by the local people. His name is Murugan. He is always on top of the hill. And you go back to Eastern Africa, even today, for more than 25 tribals worship a god which is on the hill. His name is Murungu. And obviously there's no connection between these two people over 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 years. So I'm trying to bridge the gap. There is a distinct and clear connection between the ancient India and the ancient Africa. And that is where I want to go back to the Indus Valley civilization. I think most of you would have heard that, or maybe would have studied in school, which is as ancient as the Egypt and Nile Valley civilization. Okay. I want to confess that I'm not a historian. I'm not an archaeologist, a sociologist. I'm a good-for-nothing engineer. Okay. So I'm not trying to go into the details, archaeological details. I will leave that to Brother Runoko Rashidi when he comes next. But the original inhabitants or the original creators of the Indus Valley civilization, which is also called Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, or Harappan civilization, was created by the black man. People came from Africa. About black man. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, or Harappan civilization, was created by the black man. People came from Africa. About 7,000 BC, which is 9,000 years back, maybe even earlier than that. They brought agriculture. They domesticated most of the animals. They were highly civilized. They had two-story buildings, sanitation systems, sewage system. They had a built-in screening system in the sewage, so the solids would not block the liquid passage. They had chutes, so they can drop the garbage from the upper level to lower levels. They had individual wells. They had courtyards. Highly civilized conditions they were living. They're very peaceful agricultural people. Very well flourishing civilization. This is the original black people. Then about, I think, 5,000 BC, small groups of people from Mediterranean started coming into Indus Valley. The Indus Valley I'm referring right now, if you could imagine Pakistan, and that is where the original Indus Valley people lived. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, those are two main cities that they lived. And that was not discovered till, I think, 1846 or something by the British. Before that, we did not even know that we had a civilization. The British, obviously, they were trying to build railway lines and they stumbled into the civilization. When these Mediterranean people came, they mingled with the local black people. And obviously, there is a certain amount of intermingling and maybe a slight change in features. That is the people they started calling themselves Dravidians. Maybe Brother Inuli might be able to give a little detailed definition as what the Dravidian means. I'm not quite sure, even though I call myself a Dravidian. But anyway, that is how the word Dravidian came into picture. To me, Dravidian and a black are one and the same. As a matter of fact, that is how it is being used in the Vedas and scriptures of the Hindu religion, which I'll go into a little later. And even today, in India, normally the dark-skinned people are referred as Dravidians. Okay. When these Dravidians were living comfortably, about 3000 BC, between 3000 and 2000 BC, nomadic white Aryans came from the Central Asia. They were looking for food. They were just wandering around. They were huge, big people. The one thing, sadly, they had is they domesticated horses, which the Dravidians did not. With the horsepower of being nomadic barbarians, they had all the skills of killing and beating. So when they walked into Indus Valley civilization, they found a glorious people living. So first thing they wanted to do is to conquer the people and to learn and to possess everything what these people had. A conflict took place, a war took place.
Let me stop right here real quick. Isn't that interesting that every country has the same story, how the Europeans came in and wanted to control and conquer the people? The story does and to this day, they still want to control countries by forcing them democracy, forcing them to bend down and bend over and give all that they can give or get out of you. This is nothing but history. And this is what the India's history shows.
It went on for several hundred years. Obviously, when the people came, the Aryans came, there's no very clear-cut statistics how many women came with them. The perception is that not too many women they brought with them, the white women. So there is already a mixing of color started during the period of struggle. So when the white man started having offsprings closer to white skin, not exactly white, closer to white skin, they started dividing these people into different groups. The highest being the purest white. The second group, a little darker. The third group is a little darker. And then they assigned positions or jobs or trades according to the color. The purest color had the best job. The second color, the lowest color, had the second level job. And the third level color had the third level job, and the fourth one is the darkest color. Okay. The purest guy, the white man, they called themselves Brahmins. Brahmins, the word Brahmin comes from the word Brahma.
You better write that name down, Brahmins, because to this day, it's a religion, if you will. He's going to explain to you, but what the Brahmin, God, means, he's going to break it down, but keep that word in mind.
Brahma is the creator of the religion that they later on invented. When they came in, they did not have a religion. Our ancestors had nature worship. That is what they did. They did not have any ritualism. They simply worshipped the sun and the rain and the fire and the air. That is the type of worship they had. They also worshipped cattle, the cows, and the bulls, because that is what's used in their agriculture. So they wanted to thank them. As a matter of fact, even today in South India, where most of the Dravidians live, we have 1 day or 2 days. One day we equivalent to Thanksgiving, but we thank the sun, because without sun we cannot have agriculture. And the second day we thank the oxen and the bulls and all that. Even today it's happening. So this,
which we know people in India don't touch no cows or no.
as the creator. So the pure white Aryans, they call themselves Brahmins. Brahmins, I guess it's also meaning the wise man. That is according to them, obviously not according to me. Okay. So their duty or their exclusive profession is priesthood and teaching. They are the only one can read and write. And they're the only one can obviously be the priest. That means be close to the God, and essentially they call themselves the God. On earth, they are the God. The second lighter skin guy got the job of a trader, trading and accounting and taking care of the business. And the third guy, the third darker guy, is the warrior. And the big guys, they picked all these guys, okay, you're going to protect us. This is the people came from their offsprings. But the indigenous people, we were fighting with them all the time and were captured and made as slaves to serve the first three. At that time, I think it really meant classes. The fourth one is called the Shudras. They're in fact the slaves of the three upper castes. So the first three castes are called the upper castes. And the fourth one is the Shudra, or slave. But that doesn't end the story there. The people who fought with these Aryans but could not withstand and ran off into the jungles are called the tribals.
Now, keep in mind, family, this group still exists today, and this whole Brahma caste system still exists to this day in India.
And even today, you can see tribals in India. If you go and look at them, you wouldn't distinguish them from any other African in Africa. Every features, the curly hair, the big lips, and everything, dark color, dark skin. In between, the guys did not run away. The guys did not surrender, but kept fighting all the time. Ultimately, the Aryans took these people as slaves, but they're so furious because these people did not surrender like the Shudras. And they said, okay, you guys, we're going to punish you, and we're going to call you as untouchables. Because we can touch you, because if we touch you, we'll pollute ourselves. And we're going to designate the kind of jobs which are called polluting jobs. Cleaning the street, cleaning the bathrooms, carrying the dead animals, and everything which goes along is called polluting or filthy. And then we're going to make you to live away from this town, away from the villages, segregated. These are called the outcast or untouchables. This is initially started as a kind of a class system. And I want to make sure we clearly understand the difference between class and caste. There is a big difference. A lot of people do not understand, or if you talk to a lot of Indians walking around here, either they do not understand or they purposely lie to you. Okay? They do. There is a valley and a hill difference between the word caste and class. So this started as a class system, but then the Aryans worried about their purity of their race. They wanted to make sure that they have no more intermingling between these castes, so the Brahmins can control them better. They wanted to keep those people within the two walls, or the four walls were. How can we do that? We need to make sure there is no crossbreeding. That's the first thing we want to do. How can we do that? We're going to introduce religion. That's the best way. You want to subjugate somebody, you introduce religion. And these Aryans were so smart in an obnoxious way. They invented a religion. They invented two words. One word is called dharma. The other word is called karma. Dharma means kind of a, you do what the God says you got to do. Okay. So what he says, the God says, this is your job. God tells you this is the job you got to do. Why, if a guy says, why I have to be a carpenter, why can't I be the priest? Then he comes around and tells you that is because of your karma. What is karma? You did something bad in your last life, so the God is punishing you this life. Okay? But that doesn't stop right there either. You better not question that again. Why you are in that position. If you question, you will make the God angry, and next life you're going to be worse than this.
Control.
Very smart people. Extremely smart people. So everybody did their job with a smiling face. It doesn't matter what the job is. Agreeing to be a slave, enjoying the slavery. So that's what we call in India, where the slaves enjoy slavery. Because they think they're serving God. But it took 3,000 years for me to get up and said, which God? Let me find out which God he is. Who made me be an untouchable? Tell me what I did in my last life. I sure want to find out. Okay. I sure want to talk to the God. Maybe I'll shoot him. Because I know the life of an untouchable India. But what these Aryans did, they made us completely dumb, completely ignorant, completely illiterate, completely poor.
I want y'all to parallel what he's saying to where you are in your Western country, whether you're in Europe, Canada, America, wherever. Where think about what he's saying, that in India, they have a religion to where you are punished for what you did in a previous life. What do you think they used Christianity for? They took scrolls, scriptures, and then because people weren't reading, even to this day, people don't read. He even says that people in India don't even read. You find out to question, what is this all about? That we have walked around thinking we're supposed to be slaves, servants. We're supposed to be worker bees for these corporations, institutions. We're not supposed to stand on our own 2 feet. We're not supposed to be entrepreneurs. We're supposed to be the slave to a system, and nobody questions. This is where now you see that there is a shift happening where people are waking up, reading, diving into histories of other countries, reading scriptures, reading other different historians and archaeologists and all of these different things, educating themselves about, hold up, this ain't making sense. You mean to tell me that these white people went around, enslaved over there in India, enslaved over in Australia, enslaved over there in China, enslaved over in Philippines, enslaved over here in Europe. They took the black Africans, whatever, to the Europes, and then sent all the way over to Brazil, all those countries in Central Americas, North Americas and Canada, that we are scattered all the way across the globe behind religions. The Catholics has done a horrific job in having people follow. The Arabs have done a horrific job in selling Islam to a people, and yet people have fallen into these religions believing that you're supposed to stay right there where you are at. Now, let me say one thing as so for people to understand, because people say, well, go black. You talk about God, and you even use the scriptures from the very things that the people enslaved us. Look, I studied those books. I've researched those out. First and foremost, if you don't read and study, you're going to be thinking, yeah, this is an evil scriptures. But when you look at it, first and foremost, like the churches do today, Jesus just love. That is the biggest lie ever. If you even just read the scriptures, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the spirit of supposed Jesus Christ that they call Jesus, he was a rebel. He told his disciples, it's time to take up your swords. I know I told y'all when I sent y'all out, don't take your swords, don't take your purses, don't take anything with you. Now I tell you, it's the time to take up swords. They don't tell you Jesus say that. They don't show you where Jesus went up against Rome, when he went up against the Sadducees and Pharisees, when he went up against the synagogues, which is the church, when he went through and just destroyed all of their evil teachings and wickedness. See, but when you are nothing but a subject to somebody and they're over you and they have rulership over you, you don't have access to no scriptures or scrolls. Matter of fact, they don't even want you to read. We couldn't even read. So now all of a sudden, because of the fact that they use a thing and only want to use certain scriptures to go ahead and manipulate people like they do today. And then all of a sudden now people are saying, I don't believe in the Most High. Well, I get why you don't, because the information that you received was a lie. And that's the problem we are in.
Completely weak in every sense of the word for 3,000 years. We can study, we can read, write. We can't even, our women cannot even cover their body. We cannot even wear any dress like the other man. I'll go back later on and read some of the scriptures, which is the holy books of Hindu holy books, where it says an untouchable, the dress of an untouchable has to be the dress of the dead corpus. That is, the holy book says that. The Hindu holy book says that. And these people are supposed to eat only from broken pots. So when they have systematically made these people for so long, they completely accepted their faith, so-called faith. I said, well, obviously I've done such a bad thing in my last life. I have no choice. So I might as well hope for better life in next life, better things in next life, or maybe better life for my child in my next life. So let me faithfully follow my dharma.
Let me pause right there. Many people believe that their time is supposed to come after life. That's the biggest lie ever. You're supposed to have the greatest life here in the flesh on earth. And the way you do it is follow the Most High. But when you don't, you're going to walk hell out. That is just, believe it, take it from me. I did it for 28 years of my life. Walking the hell of my life. Because why? I was not a follower of the universal laws. Once I got on board following it, everything in my life flourished. Everything in my life flourished. I'm not saying I never had issues and problems. Life brings you trials and tribulations. That's because we live in an evil, corrupt world. Yes, I didn't get jobs and get awards or things like that I thought I deserved. I didn't get, the business opportunities that I thought I deserved. But the Most High was the one that was in control of my life because I had the experience. No, there's one thing that I can tell people this right here. Look, I've had the experience in my living room with the Most High. That's what I call the Most High. You see, you can't go off of people's words and definitions saying God and the Most High if you don't understand for yourself having an interaction. I had that interaction and nobody could take that from me at all. They could burn all the books, all the Bibles, take it off this earth. There's one thing that I know that I got is that entity that I had a connection with. I had a run-in with, I had a conversation with that rose me up and changed my life. Y'all can follow what people tell you, and you can follow what these other jokers want to go ahead and manipulate you and tell you all what the scriptures say and all that right there, until you have that interaction, being baptized in that spirit. I ain't say by baptizing no goddaggone water. I said by the spirit. Then you're going to be able to see your eyes open, your ears open. Okay, I don't want to get into preaching, but I just want y'all to continue to understand his comparing what they go through over in India in this religion. And they wrote that garbage over there that actually put them in the scriptures that we have. What they did was they did the switcheroo. They said, we're the people and y'all the Gentiles, and we're the ones who's blessed. And y'all the ones who's cursed. See, there's a thing when they go into countries and they take out of countries, scrolls and ancient writings, and then they turn around and change the names and they flip it. That's what you call bait and switch. That's what they did when it comes to these scrolls that we talk about, ancient writings or the scripts, what have you.
So I don't even have a mind to question as to why I am an untouchable, and this guy sits on top of the hill. Okay. It took 3,000-4,000 years for us to even think about it. Okay. This is what is called Varna Ashrama Dharma, which is Varna means color. In Sanskrit, the word Varna is color. So the religion today is called Hinduism. The original name is not Hinduism. It is either called Brahminism. Brahminism, meaning that you accept Brahmin as a superior. That is the name of the religion. Or Varnashrama Dharma, meaning, I told you Dharma. The Dharma is the job that you do designated by God, and that job is due to your Varna, so Varnashrama Dharma. So this is the name of the religion. Till 9th century AD, when the Persians ran into India, they saw the river, the Sindh River, the Indus Valley Civilization, which is the river called Sindh. They said, well, this is Sindh River, so this place called Sindh. But they can't pronounce yes somehow. They couldn't pronounce yes. So they called them Hind. Then they said, everybody who lived in this part of the country called Hindus. For them, everybody other than who followed Islam were Hindus. Even though an untouchable who was an outcast, because to be an Hindu, you got to have a caste. If you're an outcast, obviously you don't have a caste. If you do not have a caste, you can't be a Hindu. But for the purposes of the Brahmins and the other upper caste, it is for their advantage to call the untouchables as Hindus so they can faithfully, obediently do your job. So they called them as Hindus. And the untouchables, not knowing what's going on, agreed we are also Hindus. Except I can't go into their temples, I cannot go into the streets where the upper caste live, except to clean their bathrooms. Okay? So we were the outcasts.
Because I know there's some people who's missing what he's saying, because we got to keep it parallel. We got to parallel it. We got to understand. This is what they did when it came to the caste system in damn America. Black, white. Black, you're less than. You're only good for a slave. So they use these words. This is why I tell y'all, because I've had some people say, well, go black. Why is it that you use, we got to come out of this thing called black, because it's really a word that really trips us up and it's really misguided. I said, yeah, I've said time and time again before. Look, I just did a video that when I was 39 years old, the Spirit of the Most High told me I was not a black man. What do I mean by that? We see the skin color while I'm here on the earth, but that spiritual being that I am within, I am not a black man because my mind was stuck in black. And when I was thinking that way back when I was 39, I used to say, black people don't do that. Black people do this. So they had us trapped in the mind. And when they got you trapped in the mind, it keeps you from being what it is that the Creator will bless you to be. That's when I went on my sabbatical. Black people don't surf. I started surfing. Black people don't ski. I started skiing. Everything that I thought black people in my mind, because that's the traps. When they used to tell us, you black, you don't do that. You black, you don't do this. We're white, we do this and this and that and this and that. Those were the traps by using the word black. I use the word black today only as a signpost because I understand it's a universal term that people will draw an attention to. But no, we are not black. Not if we're spiritual beings. We're not. So we have to unravel those layers of what we call black off of us because it's tied to the way you think. And once I understood that, my life catapulted into greatness because the shackles of my mind were taken off. That's when I was 20. When I was 28, I was walking into that, but it took me almost 11 years because it took a whole year when I kept hearing this. You are not a black man. You are not a black man. And I tossed and turned for almost a whole year. Lord, what do you mean? Make this plain. But little by little, just showing me that from 28 to 38 years old, I accomplished things that I could never imagine. My family, my friends is like, how the hell do you go into these cities? You started that business. You started this. You've accomplished this. You're doing that. I said, I'm following something that I didn't for 28 years. I subscribed to that very entity that was in my living room when I was about to take my life, that rose me up and put a peace inside of me and began to teach me. And that is where and why I am in a place of blissfulness. If I had to go today, take my last breath, I want all of y'all to know I have been into places and done things unimaginable that I could never, ever thought I would have ever achieved when I was freaking in my 20s. I looked at myself as average or below average. I didn't even obtain who the Creator made in me because of these traps in our system. This is why the Most High removed me out of church, because when the Lord was teaching me, I began to go in and became a minister. Then I went into ventures of becoming a pastor. And the Lord stopped 2 opportunities and said, leave. That's all I heard. Get out of there. And when I went on my journey, thank God, got me out of that church. The Spirit began to teach me who I was. And that's what I hope that each and every one of you all will walk in your destiny out of color, even out of calling yourself an African. But knowing that if there is this Almighty, we know we didn't create this universe. We know we didn't do that. And if you would just humble yourself and go into a quiet place to seek spiritually the entity of the universe, I'm telling you, your life will never be the same. Let me continue. We're coming to a close with this video here shortly.
When the British came, they obviously, the purpose of the British who came there to conquer and to rob the country. That's what they did. And obviously the Brahmins were the guys who were controlling the local population. So they went to the Brahmins, and Brahmins said, everybody Hindus. So British wrote everybody Hindus. So that is how everybody is called Hindus. If you read any article in New York Times about India, they would say India has 85% Hindus, which is absolutely false. So tomorrow, if you happen to see an Indian on the street, if you ask him what religion do you follow, if he says Hinduism, you should say, you mean to say Brahminism? He may not even know, or he may not agree with you. Because systematically, for all these years, the Indians or the Hindus have cheated the international community about what's going on in India. The caste system, the untouchability, it is so prevalent, so rampant, so barbarous, so evil, but it's all done in the name of religion. So nobody talks about it. And then it's controlled by the white man. The international press is controlled by the white man. So nobody can talk about it. New York Times press reporter goes to India. The first guy meets him as a Brahmin. So Brahmin feeds him some trash. This guy brings that trash and spits out here. That's what's going on. Okay. So we are now trying to bring some truth in what's going on. Okay. I'm going to go back and
okay. So what I'm going to do, family, is I am going to that's a 2-hour video, and I'm going to put the link. I'm gonna put the link once I end this right here, so that you can continue listening, because he goes hard into really further things. He talks about Gandhi, and I'm going to do a video of him talking about Gandhi. He said he was the worst guy ever, and he said he had all of y'all fooled. He had the world fooled. He said Gandhi was he fought for the caste system to keep it. When India had an opportunity to do away with it, he stood there with them god doggone British people to keep that caste system going. And when Martin Luther King stood with Gandhi, Martin Luther King didn't even know that Gandhi's whole fight was for the white, light-skinned Indians to remain on the top, because Gandhi got mistreated when he was in the railways from the British people who made him sit in the back of the train. And he didn't like it because they were the so-called chosen people in India, the light-skinned people. He was the higher echelons of the caste system. And he fought for that, to keep that caste system, and the black people were at the bottom. And Martin Luther King never knew that. Do you know in Houston, Texas, I want y'all to do this, please. I want y'all to do this. Please Please, I'm asking y'all. I've told y'all, I do not ask for money from y'all. I don't ask y'all to try to put me up on some pedestal and follow me and all this other crap. No, I want y'all to do this though. Go check out Gandhi's museum or statue that is in Houston, Texas, that they just put up within the year. Please find out an email and send to them this video that y'all are worshiping a racist guy who cared nothing about black people. Y'all know Ghana right here removed at the university here Gandhi's statue. Thanks to a brother here who works there at the university. Y'all forgive me, I forget my brother's name. He came from America, and he was one of the forerunners to educate the school that Gandhi is a racist, and they removed it off the university. This guy, you know, he talks about his atheism that he doesn't believe in that God. And I'm with him. I don't believe in God either. Not what these jokers out here talk about. Y'all gotta be careful when you answer somebody say, do you believe in God? You better ask what God you talk of. God. That name is a European name. You know, oh yeah, I believe in God. No, don't, y'all gotta stop that. Somebody, oh, do you believe in Jesus? Y'all gotta stop saying yes to these. Well, who you need to ask, who do you say this Jesus is? Because the way these churches pimp that and use it and jack it up, I don't believe in Jesus. No. I met my Savior in my living room. And I can easily just say Savior. If you really look up the definition of what Jesus means, it means salvation or Savior. That's all it means. But some say Yeshua, Yahweh. Some have other different names. The Most High knows your heart, because the Spirit of the Most High is welcoming to all who wants to humble themselves and receive, so their eyes and ears can be open and navigate in this hellish world that we live in. And are you not tired of being sick and tired of being at the bottom? I'm telling you, when the Spirit deals with you, you ain't gonna become poor spirit no more. No, you are rich. Yo, look, the Spirit gives you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That tears down walls out of your mind, which opens up doors. This is how one now has the access to the kingdom that's talked about. But you let them jokers tell you, oh yes, when Jesus returned, they've been saying that for the last 2,000 years. I ain't got no time for Jesus return. I'm going to die, and die what? Being a servant to people? I'll be damned. There's no way. No. I'm going to live my best life while I'm here on earth. And the way I found that to be is get in alignment with the universal laws and commandments that has been given us. And that's very simple when you got the Spirit, because the Spirit guides you. It shows you. Because without it, you do self-inflictions. You shoot yourself in the foot, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, family. We're family. Hey, it rhymes, right? But you really do. You curse everything in your life. Oh, get out of here, go black. You talk that old white man stuff, this and that. You could call it whatever you want. You know what? But I bet you right here, let's lay your greatness from the Spirit on the from the Spirit on the table, and I'll lay mine, and let's compare. Let's compare. Let's lay it all out. Let's lay it all out on the table. My thing is this right here, brothers and sisters. What the brother was saying from India, and said that that they have the connection to Africa. They've endured the same pain that even all around the world that we have endured from all of these white people. And even those people who fell into colorism, because it happens everywhere. They wouldn't dare call themselves black. Oh no, I'm going to jump on the side of my white skin. Oh yes, you know, I'm going to jump on that side. You ain't got to jump on no sides. You ain't got to jump on no side of the color. Matter of fact, it should be your goal to become colorless. But while we live in this body, we got to understand we have the bigger advantage. Thank goodness we ain't got to put no sunscreen lotion or get skin cancer before the age of 60. My wife's a physician, and she said that high percentage of European people will get skin cancer before they get 60 years old. It's just how it is. They'll have a spot somewhere on their body. They got to go through radiation treatments. They got to go through all that right there. That's one advantage that we do have. The disadvantage that we got, because we have melanin. If you live in a Western world further away from the equator, you get less sun. You go in seasons of dormant. We need vitamin D. Do you know what happens when your vitamin D plummets? It causes psychological issues. This is why when the spring comes in and the summer, you're going to find most of the crimes happening. People think, oh, because everybody gets outside, it's warm. Now people are intermingling that. No, it's because when you are in these Europe countries, in these cold climates of Americas, when you see that you get further low, when your vitamin D's get low, you become mentally disturbed. They called it the cabin fever. But here's the interesting thing my wife says. Every time she has African, who come and sees her, and she sees that they had gotten to the country or they just left home, they've been gone a while, vitamin D's are perfect. And as soon as they've been through one winter season, they come and their vitamin D's are very low. You're going to find that you have anxieties that go up, depressions will go up. You start to have these psychological issues go up. You're depressed. All these things happen. Why do you think during this time of season is the biggest month of suicides? It's because the sun in your Western countries, you have very little of it. And then on top of that, when they do daylight saving times, they steal and rob you of another hour of day of sun. Now it gets darker now because the sun the solstice is where y'all are at, is lowering and having less of it. Hence, that the sun dies in December the 22nd. Look up the solstice. December the 22nd is when the sun reaches its lowest point and it dies. Then it resurrects. And then because every time, every day you lose a minute of daylight, every minute until supposedly the birth of Jesus Christ now comes. Now all of a sudden, every day you're going to start to gain a minute. Just go on your phone and look at what's tomorrow's day sunrise. Let's do that. What time does tomorrow? Well, I'm in Africa, but still, it doesn't matter. Y'all do that. What time is tomorrow's sunrise?
Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:08 a.m.
Tomorrow's sunrise here in Ghana will be at 6:08. Now let's try this. What will be the sunrise for?
Sunrise was at 6:08
No.
a.m. today.
What is the sunrise for Sunday?
Sunrise on Sunday will be at 6:09 a.m.
6:09 a.m. So the sun will rise a minute each day. You're gaining now back the sunrise. And every day you're going to see a minute. Each day, boom, a minute, a minute, a minute. Depending on where you are, you're going to see that. So then you're gaining now. But when it was in July the 22nd, June 22nd, the sun then begins to dive or die. And you lose every day a minute. You lose it. I just educated you. I just gave you a gold nugget. So we have to keep this in mind. The advantages that we do have in this flesh, but we are not a black people in spiritually, but on earth. This is the sign. This is the evidence of being the origin of man, humanity. All right, family. I just dropped some gold nuggets. This man, please rewind, but ultimately, please share. I'll put the description of that video, put it there in the description. Give me a couple minutes once I sign off, and then you can go ahead and watch the whole, because he goes hard in some of this how India is and treats the black people there. You see what I'm saying? So now we're going to go ahead. What's up, the happy companion? What's up, man? What's up? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. I think you left Cape Verde. You're back in Gambia, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, peace and bless. Go check out my man, Happy Companion, Pan-African Travel TV. Brother coming from the USA, living his best life. So anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you all. Peace and blessings to you all. And get ready for a little change of some things as I walk even into my iPod area once I get over into my next country. But look for some greater things, pieces of the puzzle that you can add to your knowledge so that you can have confidence that you are chosen. This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. I'm out, family. Peace.